Hey everyone, happy Saturday. It's Joe of SportsGrid and it's time for a Pocket with Joe. We have 9 games today. 1 game already in progress here, and I hope you saw my post. We rode with the Winnipeg Jets here in the first period to cover that puck line, laying a half a goal. Now that was coming in at plus 164, I believe, on that one. So right now, live line on that, the Winnipeg Jets up 1-0 with 5 minutes left in that first period. We need them to hold tight here and keep the Minnesota Wild off the scoreboard. Full game, I am liking the under in this one. Now that under was 6.5. Right now that number has moved to 5.5. The under 5.5 at minus 113. So we have lost the value as we do see the lines lock up. Fingers crossed, you guys, I don't have this game on right now. I have the Ole Miss and Penn State game that the Minnesota Wild did not score because we need the Jets to cover that puck line. So let's move on. We got 8 other games on deck. I'll keep you guys updated with what is happening in that one. Still locked at the moment. Okay, if you guys are watching that, let me know what you're seeing. Good afternoon, Matt, and welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful last Saturday of the new year. I can't believe we're almost at the new year, you guys. It is mind-boggling where we're sitting. So thank you guys for joining me here. Let's move on to the next game. It was the Winnipeg Jets who scored. We're okay on that puck line right now. That total has moved up to 6.5. You're now getting value on that under plus 106 if you want to jump on the under 6.5 with me. Like I said, I like this one to the under. I know the Minnesota Wild have been allowing these goals to come in the first period, but I do expect more in that second period. So Jets scored. We've got them on the puck line. Let's go, you guys. For the first period only, I wouldn't jump on them on the puck line right now. You'd have to lay 2.5 at minus 125. I do think this game ends a little bit tighter than this number, though. So if you want to jump on the Minnesota Wild, I don't hate it at plus 2.5 at minus 102. But the only things I did take going into this game was the Winnipeg Jets puck line first period, as well as the under 6.5. So that under 6.5 at plus 104. Let's move on to the next game here. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Now this one kicks off at 5 o'clock Eastern. The Columbus Blue Jackets current odds on FanDuel coming in at plus 168. We have the Buffalo Sabres at minus 205 and a total of 6.5. Now this 6.5 juice to the over, but rightly so at minus 150. This is going to be a high scoring game between these two teams. Now, if you think Columbus can keep it tight, plus 1.5 on that puck line is minus 137. And if you think the Sabres are going to have a dominating win, laying the 1.5 on the puck line is plus 114. Looking at this matchup here, a couple things to note. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets rolling in here on their second night of a back-to-back. They're off that win in overtime versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were able to get the win 6-5. The Buffalo Sabres come in here off a couple days rest. They haven't played since Wednesday, where they lost to the Bruins in that matchup 4-1. Now, Tarasov expected in net for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and there's a couple things to look at here. Columbus in that first period, they have lost their last 4 first periods following overtime. So it is a nice play on the Buffalo Sabres to come out the rested team in that first period and be able to get the win. I like them on that puck line in the first period, laying the half a goal at plus 124. Just kind of get in and get out. Now you can look at the Columbus Blue Jackets as well for the puck line for the full game, to not be able to cover and take the Buffalo Sabres if you want in that full game on that puck line as well, because Columbus off those overtimes has been struggling, and this team off a win has been struggling to string together wins. I believe it's their last 5 or 6 games where they won and they lost. They won and they lost. This team isn't able to string those wins together. A couple other things I was looking at, because I do expect this to be a high-scoring one, and I do expect the Sabres to get the win, except the problem here is their head coach will not be on the ice today, on the bench. We know he doesn't get out there on the ice, but he won't be making it to the game. He is away due to illness, so we'll see how that goes without him there. We do have Seth Abbott stepping up in his place. So we'll see if he's able to get these lines working like Granto would have. So coming into this one, that goal in the first 5 minutes is interesting. That's coming in at plus 140. You can't take the over 1.5 in that first period. It's too highly juiced at -172. I do, though, think you just look at the Sabres in the first period, kind of get in, get out of this game with your money. And -150 to the over, it is going to be a high-scoring game. These teams trend so highly to that over. I do think 4-3 style game either way. So that's why I just like the Sabres in the first period. Okay, everything's still sitting solid with the Jets. They're still up 2-0 in that first period. Total is 6.5 still. Let's look at the next game. We have the New Jersey Devils taking on the Boston Bruins. Now this one kicks off at 7:10 Eastern. With the New Jersey Devils at +128, we have -154 for the Boston Bruins, total of 6.5. Now that's 6.5 juice to the under, actually, at -120 to the under. Expecting Ullmark, I really do think it's because they expect Ullmark to shut down the New Jersey Devils. Devils on the second night of a back-to-back, and the first night of a back-to-back here with the Bruins playing the Red Wings on the road tomorrow. So home game here. This team will be traveling. Ullmark, like I said, expected today for the Bruins, and Vanacek expected here for the Devils. Now, they've won their last 3 games, and they got a nice big win over the Ottawa Senators last night. Not what I expected. It was a 6-2 win over the Sens. I expected the Sens to be able to keep it tight and at least closer and at least go over 3 goals, because we know the Devils have been giving up these goals. This team is rolling hot right now, and they did win the last matchup over the Boston Bruins 2-1. But when we look at the Boston Bruins, they won the 6 prior to the Devils winning that last one. I do think they're the right side, but trying to find value in this one is a little hard. So you can look at the Boston Bruins in regulation. That's coming in at +100. I do think that first period, as long as the Bruins don't steamroll on Vanacek here in the first, we should see it stay under the 1.5. My fear is the Bruins' ability to score on Vanacek, because I just am not trusting the goaltending right now. I need the defense of the Devils to really stand up nice and tall in that first period, and then we can see the under 1.5, I do think, hit at +100. Now, looking at this full total, like I said, I have fears with how many points, how many goals here. Sorry, I got distracted by my TV. How many goals the Devils are going to allow and the Bruins are going to score. So I'm going to isolate the Bruins team total. I love it to the under 2.5. That's coming in at -114. I just can't see this team putting up a lot of goals on Ullmark and the Boston Bruins. We know how strong the kill here is for the Bruins at 85.2%. This team allowing those shots, but Ullmark so phenomenally strong with a 2.87 goals against average and a .913 save percentage. So I'm fading the Devils, their team total. This team can score, and they've got a strong power play, but I really do expect the Bruins to come out strong on their home ice and lock down defensively. Now, the last 3 have been lower scoring games overall. So I don't knock anyone who takes a full game under 6.5. It's just, I don't know. I just don't trust the Devils that much right now. Okay, next game on the board, the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, this is a tricky one, you guys. Montreal coming in here as the dog at +170. Oh, sorry, that's tomorrow's matchup. Montreal taking on the Florida Panthers. They're $2 underdog here at +205. We have the Florida Panthers at -255. Total of 6.5. Now, that 6.5 juice to that under at -120. And I understand the under here because you look at the defense of the Florida Panthers. This defense is playing phenomenally strong. This is the second night of a back-to-back for the Florida Panthers, though. They were able to get the win on the road. They were at home versus the Rangers last night. It was an impressive win out of the Florida Panthers. You guys know I was riding with the New York Rangers, expecting them to be able to get the win, but Florida was able to pull it out. This team has been so strong and playing clean hockey that they're allowing, if I can talk, they're allowing only 27.3 shots on goal per game. So this defense is strong. The kill is strong at 83.6%. We look at Montreal, Jake Allen confirmed. I don't have as much faith in him as I would in Sam Montague coming out. Now, Stolarz is expected for the Florida Panthers, and this is what gives me a little bit of concern here. Stolarz hasn't hit the ice since it was mid-December. It was versus Calgary, so we haven't seen him in a while. I worry about a couple hiccups here for him. especially against a Montreal team that never goes away. They keep driving, they keep fighting the whole game. And this is a team, we always talk about it, that is able to come back. Young, fast skaters out there on the ice. I'm going to look at the Florida Panthers to come out strong in that first period. It's something that's been making us money all season. It doesn't cash every time, but that first period puck line for the Florida Panthers is coming in, laying the half a goal at plus 120. I do think that they can come out strong to start this game right off the bat. Now, when we look at the matchups versus these two, the last time they played back in November, the Florida Panthers did get a 5-1 win. They have played very strong versus Montreal, and they've been able to put up the goals versus Montreal as well. So you can look at their team total here, over 3.5. I do think it's a nice way to go, especially with Jake Allen in for the Montreal Canadiens. Over 3.5, that's juicy at minus 136. Now, when we look at the Montreal Canadiens here for the full game, you could look at them on the puck line. Taking them on the puck line, laying 1.5 goals is coming in, grabbing 1.5 goals is coming in at minus 120. So you can look that way, but we've seen the Florida Panthers, they have won and covered that puck line in the last 5 meetings versus Montreal. But Montreal has been strong on the puck line as of late. They've covered the puck line in 4 of their last 5 games. Sitting strong on the road, 11-5 on that road on the puck line versus the Florida Panthers, who are 6-9 at home on that puck line. So the trends support the Florida Panthers versus Montreal covering that puck line, but with what we've seen out of Montreal as of late, they've been able to be strong on that puck line on the road. So I would look at Florida first period puck line and then stay off the full game puck line unless you want to have some faith in Montreal. It's asking a lot with Jake Allen. I just don't have it there. So my favorite bets in this one is over 3.5 goals for the Florida Panthers. Lay the juice at minus 136. And then the first period puck line at plus 120. So that's where I'm going, you guys. Your Wings got the first overtime win. Congratulations, Taylor. Yeah, it was a great win out of them. Okay, the St. Louis Blues taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This one kicks off at 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm just pulling up current odds on FanDuel. Now the Blues rolling in at plus 172 on the road, minus 210 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Total 6.5. 6.5 at minus 128 to the under. Plus 104 to the over. Right away, I do think this one's going to go over this total. We've got Joel Hofer confirmed in net for the St. Louis Blues and Tristan Jarry confirmed for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, when we look at these teams, both teams are averaging under 3 goals per game, but I do think we see that offensive success in this one. The Blues, off that loss to the Colorado Avalanche, it was a 2-1 low-scoring loss. That was last night, and I expect their defense to really break down in this one. Not Jordan Binnington in net. It is Joel Hofer here. So I expect the Penguins, who don't score a lot of goals, to have success in this one. This team is averaging 2.97 goals per game. Those shots on goal are flying in at 32.9. So I do expect Hofer to allow a lot of goals in this one. I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins go over that team total of 3.5. Now you can look at them in regulation as well. It's juicy though at minus 140 for the Pens in regulation, but I do think they get there. I think this one goes over. First night of a back-to-back, though, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which does give me a little bit of concern. Not because I think they're going to struggle in tomorrow's matchup, but because of whose tomorrow's matchup is. They beat the Islanders on Wednesday, getting that shutout win 7-0, and now they have to face the Islanders tomorrow again. So this could be a little bit of a look-ahead situation. We know the St. Louis Blues, since the coaching change, even though they lost to the Avs, have been playing a strong hockey as of late. So I look at this one to go over that total. We look at the Blues, second night of a back-to-back. They have lost their last 6 on that second night of a back-to-back. So I do see those struggles coming in for them in this one because of that. I just think tired legs will come in. And we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have, while we saw the Blues win the last matchup 4-2 in October, they've won 7 of the last 10 here, the Pens. So they have dominated this matchup. Okay, let's move on. The New York Rangers. You guys, we cashed the puck line in the first period at plus 164 for the Winnipeg Jets. They easily covered the half a goal in that first period. So I really hope you guys were able to get that with me, seeing it up there on X. Now, the New York Rangers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. This has to be one of the better games of the night. I'm so excited to see this one. The Rangers rolling in here off the loss to the Florida Panthers last night. This team on a back-to-back is phenomenally strong. They're like the Washington Capitals on that back-to-back. So I'm not worried about the back-to-back situation. They're coming in at minus 102. The Tampa Bay Lightning at minus 118. This is the Lightning team. If the location was switched, I wouldn't have a lot of faith in. I don't have faith in their defense on the road, but at home it is playing stronger. They're at minus 118. Now the total of 6.5. I wish it wasn't juiced to the under, but it is under 6.5 at minus 134. You guys know I'm absolutely going there. I think this is a goaltending defensive battle out there on the ice. We will see the Lightning's defense step up a lot more at home than we have seen on the road. Now, Igor Shesterkin expected versus Andrei Vasilevskiy. This is going to be an incredible goaltending matchup. And wow, Andrei Vasilevskiy hasn't been as strong as we'd like to see. I do think he really steps up in this matchup. I'm going to have to ride the under here. Now, when we look at the trends, second night of a back-to-back for the Rangers, this team has won their last 5 games on the second night of a back-to-back. And I love them coming into this one off the loss to the Florida Panthers. I think we get one heck of a job out of them. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning, this is the first night of a back-to-back. They face Montreal tomorrow. They want this win here. This is the game that they definitely will show up and show up the best in. They've won their last 4 first periods following a loss, so they are coming off that loss versus Florida. Both of these teams coming off losses versus Florida. That was a 3-2 loss on Wednesday. So this team has had the rest, where the Rangers are on the back-to-back. I'm just taking the under. I really do think this is a coin flip. I think this is a game that has every opportunity to go to OT. Just to give you guys that overtime price, because I can't remember what the number is on this one. The overtime price coming in at plus 350. I absolutely love this one to go to OT. I think these two battle it back and forth. Now, Igor Shesterkin isn't confirmed right now, but Andrei Vasilevskiy is. His save shots on goal number coming in at 27.5. When we look at the New York Rangers, they are averaging 31 shots on net per game, and the Tampa Bay Lightning allowing 31.1 shots on goal. So I do expect Andrei Vasilevskiy to nicely go over 27.5. The juice on that is minus 106 to the over. It's minus 120 to the under if you think it's going to be there. But I expect the best out of him today. The New York Rangers, I think, get at least 31 shots on him. Like I said, I expect a low scoring game. I expect him to stand on his head. So we'll see what Andrei Vasilevskiy is able to do in this one. Looking at Igor Shesterkin, I'm going to assume his number. Oh, let's look at the odds here. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning averaging about 30.3. The Rangers allowing only 29.7, so just a little bit less. I do expect him to be able to go over 26.5 save shots on goal, but I do think the Rangers defense will really give him a lot of protection in this one. So I wouldn't take anything over 26.5 save shots on goal. I think he can save 27 shots. I just think it's going to be limited shots in this one by the Tampa Bay Lightning, just with how the defense will play of the Rangers. So lower scoring one, loving those goalies to come out nice and strong, you guys. Couple more games. We got 3 more games to go over. We're going to jump into the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Canes come into this one as the favorite on the road at minus 118, and we got minus 102 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Total 6.5, minus 112 to the under, and minus 108 to the over. If you think the Canes can win this big on the road, minus 1.5 at plus 195, and I tell you, that looks so tempting in this matchup. I'm just not sure if I'm going to get there. Martin Jones is going to be in net for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is my concern here. The Leafs on the defensive side, I really can't trust them. Second night of a back-to-back. They lost their last 2 games last night in overtime to the Detroit Red Wings. I look at Carolina and how strong this defense has been, limiting opponents to only 25.8 shots on goal. Their kill is strong at 82.2%. The power play, though, is nice and strong for both of these teams. The kill is weaker for the Leafs at 78.8. So this is a team that doesn't want to take those penalties versus Carolina, especially with how strong I think Carolina's defense will be if they get on the power play. Second night of a back-to-back. They've lost their last 7 games at home on that second night of a back-to-back. And they're the favorite in this one. So I do think I have to put some money on Carolina. I hate to fade the Leafs in this situation when they've won 6 of the last 10. But I just look at Martin Jones in net with this defense. The defense allowing 32.1 shots on goal per game and 3.45 goals per game. I just can't trust them versus Carolina. Carolina has been rolling hot. They've won their last 2. They got a nice big win over Montreal in their last game, Thursday at home, 5-3. And Toronto on the back-to-back. I just keep going back to that. I think the defense will collapse in this one. A couple things I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at the first period over 1.5. It's coming in at -132. I'm going to look at both teams to score in the first period because I do think the Leafs come out and get some early goals in this one. That's coming in at +156. And the over 6.5. I do think a higher scoring battle in this one. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. Oh, man, Auburn getting pounded. Okay, I don't have that game on. I have the Ole Miss Penn State game on. I've been trying to watch and talk to you guys. So Ole Miss is dominating 31-17 right now. Let's look at the next game on deck. We have the Nashville Predators taking on the Washington Capitals. Okay, this game is an interesting one. Both of these teams are on the second night of a back-to-back. I am not sure how much I trust the Capitals after they've lost their last 3. This is a team that I do trust on the second night of a back-to-back, but the Predators really have dominated this matchup. Current odds here, let me just find them for you guys. -110 either way. We have a total of 6.5, -128 to the under, +104 to the over. With the second night of a back-to-back here, I do think defense needs to really lock down for the Washington Capitals. So I struggle to see this one going over because I do think they have a fighting chance in this one. They don't have a fighting chance if they allow what they've allowed in their last 2 games. Since returning from the break, both of the games that they have played, they've lost 5-1. So this defense absolutely needs to lock down. Last night, it was a loss to the Islanders. The first one, it was a loss to the Rangers. They can't do this again. And the Predators have lost their last 3. Like I said, they went to overtime last night versus the Red Wings. So Kemper expected in net for the Capitals. I do lean on the Capitals. I like the under 6.5 a lot better in this one. I do think it's a defensive battle out there on the ice. And that's all I'm touching, you guys. Because you look at the Preds, they won 7 of the last 10. They won the last meeting 3-1. But I think the Capitals have a chance. So I would put a little bit on the Capitals, but the under 6.5, that last game between the two of them, the Preds won 3-1. I expect a very similar kind of score in this one. The last game on deck, we have the Edmonton Oilers taking on the LA Kings, another absolutely fantastic game. And I think when you look at this total, it depends if you're going to go over or under. By which team you're really backing. If you expect the offense of the Edmonton Oilers to be able to get through the defense of the LA Kings, or if you expect the defense of the LA Kings to lock down the Edmonton Oilers, I'm expecting the second. I'm expecting this game to be absolutely controlled by the defense of the LA Kings. This team is so phenomenally strong, only allowing an average of 2.34 goals per game, 26.7 shots on net, which is second overall in the league, and they've got the best kill at 87%. And yes, the offensive side of the puck is so strong for the Edmonton Oilers, averaging 3.5 goals per game and 34.1 shots on goal, third best in the league. The power play strong at 26%, but I look at this one, I still can't trust Skinner in that. And yes, they've won their last 3, and they got a shutout win versus the Sharks, but it was versus the Sharks on Thursday. The LA Kings should be starting Cam Talbot tonight, and I love it even more with Cam Talbot getting the start. We know he used to play for Edmonton, so a little bit of revenge here for Cam Talbot against his former team. If he can get the shutout tonight, It'd be absolutely brilliant. You know he is dying to get the shutout here versus his old team. I'm going to put a little bit of money on it. It's going to be a great game. He's got a 2.11 goals against average, a .924 save percentage. Now, I'm going to look at his props here. I haven't pulled them up. I haven't bet them yet, but I definitely will be looking at them once he's got confirmation. Still no confirmation on Cam Talbot. So this is all coming because I do believe Cam Talbot is in net. So definitely wait and watch for this one to be able to come through. You're welcome, Jimmy. So wait on this one. But I do think as long as it's Cam Talbot, we ride with the under. We ride with the defense of the Kings to really hone down and limit the Edmonton Oilers. Now, Edmonton has won the last 3 meetings and 6 of the last 10, so the Kings absolutely have to bring it. The Kings are off that loss to Vegas, 3-2 loss. I do think this game, very, very similar style game. 2-1, 2-0 even here for the Kings. Low-scoring battle. We have Edmonton sitting 5th in the Pacific and the LA Kings sitting 3rd in the Pacific. I don't trust the defense here of the Edmonton Oilers. LA might run away with this if they hit Skinner really quick and they continue to hit him. We could see this one go over. So if you're looking at a better bet for this total, look at Edmonton's team total to the under if you believe like I do in the Kings, but I think it's the Kings here. And that's it. So Ice Guys, Ian, right? Ian, I think, is the Ice Guys. He is doing the tie at plus 190. Okay. And plus 500 on Carolina in the first period. Nice way to go. Okay, you guys, that is it. I am calling it a day. Well, I'm not calling it a day. Going to get back to watching some college football. I will be live on SportsGrid tonight from 8 p.m. Eastern all the way to midnight. Going to have some great guests jumping on, so make sure you come on over and check it out. Check out the SportsGrid app after 4 o'clock Eastern. My pick in tonight's NFL game will be up on the app, so check that out. But on the ice, let's make some freaking money, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I'm just going to quickly go back and look at that live game. Second period just about to get underway here between the Jets and the Wild. Current odds on this one, that under 6.5 is minus 140. You can't take it right now. In the next couple minutes, if we see a quick goal, I would still jump on that under 6.5 when you're getting better value. It's got to be the Wild plus the 2.5 if you don't have a bet in this one right now. Yes, the Jets are playing better hockey, but I think it's going to be a lower scoring one, and you're getting the Wild plus the 2.5 at minus 104. So I wouldn't lay the 2.5 with the Winnipeg Jets. The Wild are able to score, and this should be a lower scoring battle out there. I don't think the Wild get held off the board today. But you guys, appreciate each and every one of you. I'm glad you took notes. So there's a lot of games on the board today. We will be back tomorrow, so turn on those notifications. I need some more coffee. That is for sure. My Buckeyes lost yesterday, so a little sad today, but that's okay. We're going to have a great day out there on the ice. We made some money yesterday. Let's make some more freaking money today. Make sure you like, retweet this video, and drop what you're betting. If you got a great parlay for us, anything that you're liking out there on the ice, let us know. And again, join me tonight on SportsGrid. I will be live from 8 to midnight, as well as tomorrow night, you guys. So you get 2 nights of me over on the grid. Tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, it'll only be 10 o'clock when I finish up out here. So I'm headed out after, but for anyone I don't catch tomorrow, either on the grid or on a pocket tomorrow, have a very happy and safe New Year's. Please don't drink and drive. Call an Uber, you guys. It's so cheap. If you need money for an Uber, let someone know, because you guys don't take the risk, please. Happy New Year's, everyone. We will see you back here tomorrow.